is why I love that. I love hearing your story from this context is because, again, we have so many people who may be interested in theological education, maybe even have like a master's degree or, MDiv or what have you, and want to pursue something further and have been thinking about pursuing a PhD in language of some sort, right? But to your point, there are other institutions that may be steering them away from that because there is power, which is what you named, in learning the original language of the text so that you can properly exegete and say the things that are appropriate. What's happening in our current society is a testament to that. I want you to continue to name for us, in that journey, what are some things that you had, after hearing the things that you heard, what are some things that you had to say to yourself to push you to the next level?
That's a great question.
Thank you. I tried.
I had to keep telling myself that I'm smarter than what they think I am. I can communicate better than they think I do. My writing is better than they say it is. Because that's the one thing that they always tell you, you know. And you can see it even in the classroom. Just like we see it in the boardroom often.
Yeah.
Women will say something, it's ignored.
Yeah.
But then let someone else say it. And it's the exact same thing that a woman says, but it's said in a different verbiage.
Right.
And everyone's like, oh, yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
But I've just said the same thing.
Yeah.
We have to constantly remind ourselves that we are just as good, if not better, than the people around us. And I also had to remind myself that not only did I have to learn the classics, I also had to learn everything else that they did not teach me.
Oh, Dr. P, hold on. Now, before you go any further, talk a little more about that part. What does that mean to learn? And how do you, and for those of us who are like maybe thinking the same thing, like, yes, we're in an information age, but the question now becomes, how do we find the things that are being eradicated, that they're pushing out, they're pushing or removing intentionally, or that we don't know to look for because we have never been introduced to them?
Oh, wow, yeah. It's very easy. Now, I'm particularly thinking biblical studies.
Yeah.
It's very easy to find the German biblical scholars that we all have to know. The Bultmann, Rudolf Bultmann, the folks who influenced Bultmann. And now I'm thinking the Nazi guys who influenced Bultmann.
Yeah.
We now have to think about the African scholars who were influential in our biblical texts as well. So you can think about Augustine, who's in Egypt, African scholar, even though Augustine had his own issues.
Right. I was about to say,
Yeah.
right.
Augustine got issues.
She got issues. Right.
But I think we still need to do a lot of work in Ethiopia.
Yes.
We have to learn Ge'ez, I think.
Yes.
The Coptic language.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of manuscripts that still need to be uncovered from the Ethiopic Bible that I don't think we have enough study in just yet.
Most people don't even know that it exists or that it was there long before the westernized version of Christianity that we embody. Yeah.
And I think that's still an area of study that needs to be heavily researched and uncovered. And also, I would still say that enslaved women's voices and preaching still needs to be researched somehow. There are archives that I'm thinking about in New York City. I'm blanking on the museum, but Harlem archives that I think we can find how women's voices and women's preaching, particularly Black women's preaching of our text, can even give us more views into how women were looking at text and thinking about our biblical texts as well.
Yeah.
I think there's more research that can be done on how Black women were doing exegesis of our biblical texts.
Since we're here, let's talk about how you landed in a womanist hermeneutic viewpoint. How did you? Oftentimes, I'd like to say that I maybe did not have the language for it, but in so many ways, I've always been womanist.
Yeah.
And there's different dimensions. My womanism is often based through the lens of like generations that will come after me. So I'm thinking about my daughter immediately, or I'm thinking about the world through her lens. How can I interpret the scripture so that she can be validated or be seen or be heard? And then that translates to how it's experienced, or I experience it, or I tell it to other people. But in a lot of ways, because I'm a real nerd, so even after I graduated, I did audit Dr. Parker's class because I wanted to learn more. But I'm interested in knowing how you got there. Like, because everything that you're saying sounds more classical in nature. Yeah. And yes, womanism has been around for, 40 years at this point. But it wasn't I don't remember it being so pervasive when I was in seminary. I don't remember hearing as much of it about it until I actually went to the doctoral route. Right. So get us there.
Yeah. I first heard about womanism in undergrad at Shaw.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did not know about womanism until I was in Shaw bookstore. And I see a blue covered book that had 3 Black women on it, and they were in handkerchiefs wrapped around their heads. And I was looking at this book and I was flipping through it, and I remember reading the phrase, "You acting womanish," and reading that it was something that Southern mothers said to their daughters.
Yes. And
I started reading other parts of the book and I started crying because I grew up with a Southern mama. My mom's from Alabama.
Yeah.
And she would tell me that when I asked too many questions. And I started reading this book and I'm like, womanist theology?
Yeah.
This is a thing?
Right.
This is something that someone's written about, something that I can study.
Yeah.
And I was just like, here I am in these pages.
Yeah.
And this is a woman, a Dolores Williams.
Right.
Who's talking about God. Oh, and it's through Hagar.
Yeah.
Huh. And Hagar had to bear this child for Abram and Sarai. I never thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Hagar was enslaved. Oh, all of us were enslaved. Oh, and it began to click.
Like a waterfall.
Yeah, it was like a waterfall.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, wow.
And it just kind of, it hit. And so that was just the moment of, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And this is why I need to go to Duke Divinity or Shaw Divinity School.
Yeah.
And exactly what's going to happen after that, I don't know. But I need to go to Divinity School.
Your inner monologue, it seems, was grossly shaped by that one trip to a bookstore.
Yes.
Because and now that I'm thinking about it, in terms of when they said that you did not meet the qualifications, the womanist in you rose up and said, yeah, nah.
And it was funny because even when I was at Duke, I was not introduced to James Cone or Dolores Williams until my last semester.
Whoa.
and it was in an ethics class.
Yeah.
They did not introduce Cone or Dolores Williams in theology because theology was classic.
Same.
Yeah.
Because that's what, when I think about it, that's where I learned about James Cone. It wasn't in the traditional classes or coursework that I was taking. It was in a specialty. Oh, my God.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
And I would say we're doing a disservice to James Cone, because even now when I teach James Cone, because I teach James Cone in, I teach him in my biblical interpretation in the Age of Black Lives Matter class.
Based off of your book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I introduced James Cone there and talk about his definition of theology.
Yeah.
Because his definition of theology is, if your theology is not thinking through the lens of Jesus Christ and Luke 4 and coming to free the oppressed, then is that really Christian theology?
Right. Because
Christian theology should not just be like these creeds and we believe this and we believe that, because that's Eurocentric theology.
Yeah.
And so that's not really getting to the nitty gritty of Jesus. And so James Cone's definition of theology really should be brought up against what Christian theology is, or classical theology is, as it's taught in most seminaries. And they don't want to do that because that would actually be interrogating their own selves in a mirror.
Nobody wants to do it. I'm thinking about Dumez's work right now.
Jesus and John Wayne.
Jesus and John Wayne, where I remember having like a moment, because the interrogation of self almost, it's so hard for people, and you named that earlier. It's really difficult for people across the board to look within themselves and say, maybe I got it wrong. Because when you say that now, it opens like almost like a Pandora's box of what else don't I know?
What else don't I know?
And that is a thing that people who lack self-awareness, or who struggle with it, will struggle again to navigate, especially if they don't have the tools. Which is why I like how I love the way that you're naming this for the purposes of our conversations. And I'm specifically speaking to our audience now because you too may have had a similar moment where, something was said, by one of your family members, or in the church construct that you live in, or in the community that you're a part of, that is disrupting what's inside of you. And it's making you contemplate whether or not, you need to go deeper. What I'm hearing from Dr. P is go deeper.
Go deeper. Yeah.
And it's okay. Okay. So again, I can talk to Dr. P forever, but I'm going to maybe wrap up our conversation by kind of dealing with womanism in marriage. One of the reasons why I look to Dr. P as a model, if you will, is because there are similarities in our stories, but specific to the fact that we're both in our second marriages, and we both identify as womanists, albeit I'm not the scholar that she is. I'm just trying to be like her when I grow up, kind of thing. I want to talk about how challenging it is to be both womanist and married in this space. And you can go as far, wide, deep, with the songs deep and wide as you want to. But I know that there are conversations maybe happening in the world, and the more you go outside of your own context, and I'm specifically naming that because I just came out of the country and I learned that womanism is not just an American embodiment. Right. It's out here. It's
out there in the globe.
In the globe. And it's taking on different forms, arguably forms that are maybe different from Alice Walker's interpretation was, or Dolores Williams, or Renita Weems, or, the greats were. And now as we go into third and fourth waves, people are reimagining what that could look like.
Yes.
So within that kind of context, please, womanism, don't come for me. Talk to me about womanism and marriage and kind of operating in that space, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I would say that for a time, womanism and some womanists have had difficulty with the ways that womanists, various womanists, have become womanists.
Okay.
And for some, if my struggle was not the same as their struggle,
Yeah.
they would question my struggle. And for some, that meant that my single or lack of singleness meant that my womanism was not as purple as their womanism.
I'm with you.
And so being a happily married woman,
Yeah, baby, very happily. Because one
Right.
thing she going to talk about is that Victor.
yes, happily married woman makes your womanism almost questionable because you're not struggling in the same way as perhaps a single womanist. Now, I'm not trying to say that to disparage any of my single womanist friends.
Right.
I'm just saying that over the years, I've seen conversations like that.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to be able to make space and room for womanists to name themselves in any iteration that they name themselves. Not all of our struggles have to be the same,
Yeah.
but we do recognize that we all struggle. We just may struggle differently.
Right.
And even in a happily content marriage, I still have struggles like any other black woman on the globe.
So sometimes you look at Victor the same way I look at Tim, but like, the man is trying to hold me back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. And I think that there's still work to be done through womanist lenses and through womanist interpretation that talks about our relationships with our men. We still need to have better conversations about what those relationships look like across all of our varying relationships, married relationships, just even conversations about relationships that occur just interpersonally.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting to me that I have a lot of black men coming at me online
Yeah.
for things that I say online.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bruh, why aren't we more in
community as opposed to being against. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I'm with you.
I'm like, what happened to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's another conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
So I think womanism really needs to interrogate that as well.
Yeah.
And then we could also look at red pill manosphere and what it's doing to our black men.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we still have to have writings and conversations through womanist lenses that looks at all of these relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're looking to you out in the world to
Yes.
partner with us so that we can continue to work. Let me tell you something. Dr. P, before we started, gave me a good little tongue lashing about what I wasn't doing. So I'm passing that on to y'all too. We got work to do. And I hope that you will continue to partner with us. Really quickly before we leave, Dr. P, do you want to plug in anything that you're working on, or you name your book for us? Because I referenced it, but we didn't name it.
Yeah, so my book is entitled If God Still Breathes, Why Can't I? Black Lives and Biblical Authority. That's with Erdman's. You could also pick up Bitter the Chastening Rod. That's Africana interpretation in the age of Black Lives Matter, Me Too, and Say Her Name. It's an edited volume with Mitzi Smith and Erica Dunbar Hill. I have a new book coming out with Erdman's entitled Faith Unlynched, Jesus' Faith as Paul's both and out of white Christian nationalism. And I just look forward to seeing you all on TikTok, Instagram, and, follow me at Boozy Bible Scholar. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this was enlightening and wonderful, and I hope that you two found yourselves in this conversation. Bye.